and then give it a minute and see if it picks up. We don't sing. We don't sing. Epanemuani niyolupaki tlatso kamati don't sing. En español. Relaciones, corazón vibrazado, te amo y gracias, madre de la tierra.
English only.
We're all related, heartbeat vibrating. We love you and thank you, Mother Earth. And that's how we lost our language. I am hungers for memory. I wonder about my great-grandfather. His voice echoes in Nahuatl. He dons traditional garb. I want to reconnect with my ancestors. I stand awestruck. My mind pretends to go back in time. I hear the rhythm of the drums. It awakens something primal in me. I feel the drum vibrate through me. I feel the drum vibrate through me. I feel the drum vibrate through me. My hands touch animal leathers. I worry I will wake back in the present. I cry tears of rapture, affirmed I am his great grandson. I understand pieces of our language. I say, in lak ech alak in, which means you are my other me, and I am your other you. If I hurt you, I harm myself. But if I love and respect you, I love and respect myself. I dream this is real. I try and teach my sons. I hope they will teach their children that we live on. I am Apache, Yaqui, Mexica. We are the people of the first nation and praying for the children that never made it home. 10,015 bodies of children were found outside of a residential prison, buried inside of a mass grave. Schools were designed to assimilate the natives. Children were forcibly taken right from the arms of our families by law and placed in these border schools. Imagine police coming into your homes and kidnapping your children right in front of you. Parents who try to stop them were beaten and killed. We have a painful history with so much blood spilled. Students were beaten into submission, no longer allowed to wear our custom clothing, cut off our long hair and sense of identity. We can no longer sing our native songs like hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya. No more banging on rhythmic drums. Cut out the heartbeat of our nation. Forbid the ceremonial dances. Banned us from speaking our native languages. I wish that all lives matter. So many abuses, so many lives shattered. We remember the children and give them a moment of silence. We honor the people of the First Nation and pray for the children that never made it home. Every child matters, every child matters, every child matters, every child. Over 500 years, our culture was erased, systematically replaced. Around the world, there were thousands of these schools with widespread abuse for breaking the rules. Cultural genocide wiped out our minds. We were denied our cultural way of life, alone and scared. Many children cried, a large number of them died. Sick with grief, this was heavy on our hearts. When will they stop tearing families apart? The damage has been done, wounded the millions. Outlaw the schools, what to do with the children? The schools have been replaced by the foster care system. This is still happening in forced immigration. We have families, give back the children. We honor the people of the First Nation and pray for the children who never made it home. Listen to the whispers, no more stolen sisters. Listen to the whispers, no more stolen sisters. Missing and murdered Indigenous women. Missing and murdered Indigenous women. Missing and murdered Indigenous women. Most horrendous crime in our nation. It seems like no one's ever heard of it. Native girls and women kidnapped and raped and killed at 10 times higher rates across Canada, Mexico, and United States. Where's the headline? Where's the outrage? Half of Native women are victims of sexual violence. I'll not stand silent, deaf, dumb, and blind. I pray to the east, northwest, and south. When you see a red hand painted over the mouth, it stands for all our missing sisters whose voices are no longer heard. Hurt with no return. Over half of these cases are murders. Third leading cause of death of Indigenous women, and the silence of the media and law enforcement strikingly goes unreported. Taken, trafficked, used and abused. If all lives matter, why don't they make the news? Thousands of unsolved cases have been documented, yet go missing in life and in death. A third third are women under the age of 21. A quarter are girls under the age of 18. A white hand represents the unseen. Listen to the whispers, no more stolen sisters. Listen to the whispers, no more stolen sisters. Listen to the whispers, no more stolen sisters. Missing and murdered indigenous women. Missing and murdered indigenous women. No more extractive industries. Stop oil pipelines like Line 3. For what happens to the land happens to the bodies of our missing and murdered indigenous women. In the midst of this crisis, bring a missing home. Know that you are not alone. Help families to cope through the grief process. Let's raise awareness, seek representation and justice. In remembrance of our loved ones, say their names and break the silence. Have courage against sexual violence. We've got to protect all our relatives. Mothers, daughters, aunties and sisters, fathers, sons, brothers and two-spirits, women and children. Prevent the next attack, learn and teach self-defense, fight back and stop it in its tracks. Bring home our people and give the land back. Remember me. Listen to the whispers, no more stolen sisters. Listen to the whispers, no more stolen sisters. Listen to the whispers, no more stolen sisters.
Good evening, everybody. I come from a land called Nack. Our people left, but some of them stayed. And over time, some left to other areas of the United States. Great-grandmother came to California, and now I'm here. And this first poem is called The Spanish Father and the Indigenous Mother. Music was my first love. From the mic to the synthesizer, through culture and reconnection I became wiser, learned about the colonized and the colonizers, the Spanish father and the indigenous mother, the mother who thrived on Mother Earth's energy, wanting to give her son and teach her son love and empathy, that the trees and the animals are very much alive, for without nature humankind could never survive, that there doesn't need to be a divide. But then there is the Spanish father, the father who wants to put his woman on the shelf. He sees the world through material gain and wealth, with their pleas simply being redacted, saying land is nothing but resources to be extracted. Not caring about those stories of old, pillaging cities for those city of gold. He leaves her in fear with gleaming red tears, saying, forget about your culture and dying dialect with the utmost disrespect. He says your primitive ways are incorrect. He says the Bible is right and that traditional beliefs are vacant, yet he doesn't understand that her beliefs are much more ancient, that predates the Abrahamic religions, basing her decision on how her choice will affect her grandchildren and their world building. Yet their child hears the screams. He slowly learns from his dad that power must be taken by any means. And with fear he begins to foster, yet he looks up to this figure, since a young boy wants to be like his father, and learn to be a man and not be so dependent. And through manipulation he sees his mother and develops a growing resentment. Obeying the father's demands, I may have been abused, but his lessons gave me strength and made me who I am. He grows to believe that a man has full control, that his mother should have no say, no part to play. Her son sees weakness and emotion with an individualistic approach, yet on the inside he feels cynical, feeling like he's losing hope. But his indigenous mother explains that life isn't just black and white or simply day and night, but shades of gray. She looks to the Creator and prays and explains that it takes a strong man to share how he feels, to work as one with a wife dividing bills and meals, that it is okay to break down and cry. Since strength isn't defined by how many pounds you lift or how much you brag about manliness in a pre-written script, strength is being able to stand after falling. Strength is keeping hope when good news is stalling. Strength is when you fight for something other than you and just being true. Be the man that knows what it means to be stronger. Be better than me and your father, and continue to shine through, because the father's abuse does not define you. For son, I am right behind you. The mother sees tears from her son as she observes. She knows toxic ideas are hard to unlearn, but together we can thrive as a nation, repair the broken hearts that are aching, with blessings to our family and all of our relations. This next piece is called I Was Raised by a Soldier. I reflect on my memories as I grow older. I remember how I was raised by a soldier, Beretta 92 in the holster, who was trained to kill and fight, standing 5'4" in height, but his dress blues were vibrant. To me, this man was a giant, making every problem solvable, making every problem seem like a minor obstacle. Like a course in boot camp, he pulled his bootstraps, reading his scriptures, reading Corinthians, his deadly accuracy more accurate than Olympians, a natural athlete with his rap sheet in the front but never in the backseat, but gazed upon emotions and decided to mask it. Exposed me to death, telling me to look inside the open casket. I just about had it with the cruelest lessons. Let me have expressions. Let my thoughts be my own, because your lights are on, but you are never home. I was never physically fit or had your fancy uniform sense of style. Never as strong and never as agile. Could never run a mile in 6 minutes or less. I almost signed those papers, so now I consider myself blessed that I stopped trying to be you or be your carbon copy, because that would have cost me. You would have lost me, causing me to say this is the final straw. I used to be in awe, but now I realize, like all human beings, you are a person and you are flawed. That's why I decide to open my life and invite you. For I was raised by a soldier, but I'm not like you. When I hear my kids' frustrations, I will sit and listen. You're a warrior with a rifle, but I'm a warrior with my lyricism. And I stand in assembly, loving my wife like a smooth melody. More than you love my mom with your infidelities. I will readily give my kids the best of me. You were in a programmed for negative energy. So I don't fit your definition of being hard. You could fire M16 bullets that go 3,000 yards with ace of spades death cards. You're an elite and your training was never subpar. But bullets are temporary in their journey. Words can live to be an eternity. Your rifle kills dozens, while my words can uplift those who have sunken, to inspire millions of brothers and sisters and cousins, as long as I stay true and never resort to bluffing. See, I admire what you overcame, because your brain can be a creative yet a destructive device. I respect and admire your sacrifice, but I've developed a relationship to place. I hope you admire the world that I've been driven to create, to see how powerful I really am on the videos and recording cams. Because I'm a rapper, I'm a poet, I'm an MC, I'm a spoken word artist, or whatever title you desire. I hope I can speak my truth while you give me covering fire. As we go from cover to cover, you can make your rounds, make your numbers, and I'll check my rhyme. Because my words are like your rifle, there are many like it, but this one is mine. And I will write with the morals that were instilled in me. Speak clearer than my opponents try to take my free will from me. I will write, I will honor my ancestors, never suppress like the barrel of a gun attached to a suppressor. Because I'm alive and my tribe exists. So if I'm tempted with evil, Creator, give me the strength to resist. Because we both suffered the loss of our older brothers in negative depictions. One to mental illness and the other to addiction that fries the wires, eating away like Alzheimer's. We don't speak their names often because our last feelings or rotten, decomposing rage. You turn to your Bible, but I burn to my sage. But both of them on the past and press replay to remember when the world was warm and couldn't get any colder. I'm my own man, but I was raised by a soldier. This next piece is called Indigenous Me. Opening my third eye, but I've been blindsided. Like Bushwick or Sandra Bullock. But when it comes to numbers, I crunch that. I'm not from Notre Dame, but I leave aggressive hunchback. Kicking back with these raps, getting features. Never flopping like I had a seizure. Got brains like Neutron, not a Carl Weezer. Moving forward, simply progressive. With domineering traits, never recessive. With that X and Y chromosome. Chop these issues up like provolone. These herbs be homemade, homegrown. I'm hard-headed to the dome. But nobody can ever hold a handle, a candle. Cause she got the mox and will travel. So to take mistakes as a lesson, not a training manual. We're generation number 7. It's funny to mention that our appearance was divine intervention. But you claim to be so old, you are so bold, moving faster than I can translate or activate the ideas that stem when I'm in REM, that become hidden uncut gems. We become the very closest of friends till the very end. And now it's daylight on the plane flight and I'm feeling nervous, a sense of urgency, but it's not the turbulent ride. I just feel a little shaking on the inside. I'm meeting my first unseen legend who have me looking toward the skies. Who the fuck am I on this journey, feeling unworthy? Yet you continually say you've given me more than I could ever repay. Through the life I walk through out of place, I leave my left and feel your warm embrace, siphoning and brightening my blackened ties that cut me down to a smaller size. I work that 9 to 5, but I know there's more to life than getting shit from management. I want that spiritual extravagance. Should an accident make my soul leave my body in abandonment, I want you to know that you gave me the tools, show me the treatment our people received in the boarding schools. Chained to death with iron cuffs, I know your body stuffed in agitation. Reveal your sins, only increase my admiration. I'll inherit your traits, shield with steel plates and prosper, till I get to a ton of zeros and commas. I'll quote Cousin Audra, with the talent she radiated. Not many people are feeling, she stated they're stuck in their rules, cause that is what society dictated. So this is a battle that likes Napoleon and I'm Waterloo, in this sinking canoe letting water through. Cause I can't keep the disguise up, native people rise up, cause accepting termination just isn't my cup of tea. I feel truly free when my mama speaks her tribal language with me. She knows a slang and a bit of Cree, and knows I'm not manufactured like Compound V. Cause even though I've been duped, I'm a real soup in the group, never to be beheaded like a rooster in the coop. I've been thrown in the trash chute needlessly. Yeah, it's just indigenous me. Yeah, it's just indigenous me. My strength is impossible to gauge. I remember on a People's Day, I was rocking the stage. For once my time didn't feel borrowed. Professor Navarro set me up with a gig and now I continue to make it big. I know my thank yous are getting repetitive, miles away, but I'm proud to be a representative. With my brain release hits endorphins. Born without a tribe, for a while I was an orphan, but I found my way home after nearly 20 years of fears and rusty grinding gears. Now decapitation gets an adaptation with the Cajuns running free, because it's just indigenous me. 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 This last piece I have for everybody tonight, it's a song I wrote simply called 1998. I'm in the eve of my doomsday preparation. How to find inspiration? Yo, Murray, when calling, can you introduce me as decapitation? I've studied to ban my inner ignorance, never flinch at another man's omnipotence, never moving into and faced with hindrance. Piss off my supervisor colonizers in an instant with my mere existence. The life of an indigenous wordsmith, rise up with the very energy I used to hurt with. Make audiences nervous and I jump the verses. It's like the sermons burning in the churches, but my flakes ain't for walls and a roof. It's Mother Earth's institute. My astute observations, my book of life would be heralded as gold mines. I miss the simpler lines, the simpler times. Peaceful by design, ain't not released by vines, ever so merciful. Who knew this death-loving rapper curse irreversible would outlive his commercial circle? Who knew being reckless would lead to a garden of peace with an early morning breakfast? This beat will hit men and women equally, never sexist. Crack more teeth than the tooth fairy teaming up with the dentist. And mock my oppressor for the depravity. I'll be digging holes in the ground for you like a cavity. Taking inspiration from Nas and automatically make a classic. And if no one was having it, I was proud to be a part of it. You can black market it as if it was ivory. An example of piracy. I'll hang that shit on the wall in the privacy of a studio. Directly attacking opponents' life points like it was Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm an MC on duty, yo. Since 199 number 8, I made my escape through the gates of life, and that's how decap got it bumping up to something no more running, had it coming. Getting a grip, never sailing on a sinking ship with my Titanic. Seismic vocab, written on a notepad. You can boast and brag, but I never pretended to lag. I carried written explosive mag just to make it. I'll be throwing archaic explosive frags to my last breath like my elders in hospice. Stepping into Dr. Fate's office, ready for the process. It's amazing what the mind do. I'll draw a line through, so when you one day pass, I'll be following right behind you. Remembered as one of the men of the 7th gen trying to make atonement. Wondering how many died so I could be alive in this very moment. Wondering how many died so I could be alive in this very moment. wondering how many died so I could be alive in this very moment, wondering how many died so I could be alive in this very moment.
What are you? Little cafe au lait baby. Looked like milk, smelled like coffee. Mama Betancourt called her Anna. Papa Vasquez, Anna. Mom was always there and the one who signed the birth certificate while Papa was at training. So Anna Marie was she. She babbled to the richness of many vowels, was nourished by the aroma of supish, coivish, piloses, quemaditas, de tortillas, pintos, and the tears from drying chilies in the basket. There were hallways of carpet, hair dryers and curlers, encyclopedias. There were hardwood halls and puppy-piled rooms of warm brown skin, Spirograph, Barbie, Primos, toilet deodorizer, Vitalis, Listerine, and Dippity-Doo. She was made alive with the sounds of the guitar and the gritos and the love. She sat on Cesar's lap with Brother Mateo, dined with the priest at Abuela's table, went to pig killings and the Portuguese festas. But now, I don't know Spanish. I don't know Portuguese. Beyond, como me calet, coisa linda. Mijita, mira la luna, no llores. But then there were some dirty-faced kids at the playground. They looked, asked, wondered, what are you? What are you? What? Who? Who am I? I'm a person. Who are you? What about them? What is this? I was Anna, cultivated into a household of contrasts, family and conflict, Portuguese, Mexican, American, from Texas, LA, Salma, the Azores, the earth. From the earth, there's agriculture and assimilation, aggression and oppression, different biases, honors, values, shame, grit. They were the same too. Same small town, a railroad junction, in the midst of dust, alfalfa, corn, cotton, cows, sheep, chickens, and pig shit. They met at school, my parents, and at 4-H and at FFA and at Mass. My grandparents all learned to speak English at school, sometimes wearing shoes, rulers, and switches if they dared carry their words from home in their mouths. Later, their children, my parents, would know better after a rolled up newspaper or two came down on their classmates' heads when they used something besides English. And they would leave those words on the farm or save them for recess or the walk home. Now, I started kindergarten at an experimental, bilingual Chicano school in Berkeley in 1971, Casa de la Raza, where I colored little boy Azul with all the blue colors of Crayola. I bravely snuck past the big, burnt, graffitied cinder block box and La Llorona. On the way up the hill to box lunches in a borrowed cafeteria. Now, little David, he had to guide me to school and from class to class every day. because I couldn't keep a map in my head. I was always lost, always improvising, that I was okay. I didn't know how to get there by myself. I didn't know how to get here tonight. But I always keep going until I do. The casa was shut down by the ACLU, just like the black school and the Asian one. Because having a school where we could feel free to speak and to be we, accepted and celebrated for whoever and whatever else we were, was discrimination. And they closed our schools, ironically. Now I speak. I sing in many languages, but I speak nothing but poetry. The tastes and textures, the crispy bits and the spicy, tangy words, the delicious sounds, the echolalia, the joy. My spirit flows. I'm beginning to know that I belong everywhere and nowhere. I am more than my evolving language, my neurology, my psychology, my biology, my family tree, and epiphany. More than my insecurities, my faults, my hang-ups and pain. I am she. I am me. I am we. I am nothing. I am free. This next poem was inspired by Mama Anger when one of my children had a breakup that ended up in a social media smear campaign. And I looked at that, and as I wrote the poem, it became familiar, and I remembered what it felt like, and I understood. To young, naive me, from old, still naive me, to giants, hearts, and the splashing bleeds of first cuts. I remember you, feeling discarded, unvalued, insecure, when breakups happen, whether friends or more complicated ships that never should have sailed. And there was primal anger, and there was confusion, and heartbroken shards to navigate, tender, bare souls. I wish I had kept more silent, or still more confident in myself, understanding that pain passes, it transforms, we do mature, we do. But those haggard words, hurled, unfurled, accusations and angst, smear campaigning, no matter how justified we try to convince ourselves to feel, they are or will be irretrievably released. And we unconsciously reveal more autobiography, more psychological thriller, more tragedy, more mystery, and documentary or expose. I'm retrospectively glad that I had no story to feed, no virtual social imprint, electronic tattoo to excise, if wise, only multiple hang-up dials, and long, cord-coiled, teary telephone calls to loyal friends while listening to Kate in the dark on cassette, glossy cardboard liner notes, smelling of tortillas, a shiny golden ring upon her tongue. When I was so very young, raw, ragged, vulnerable, unbearably untenable. Thankfully, in the pre-social cell text screen days, my pain faded, quietly undocumented. Transparencies, papery depths, distantly dark memories, bittersweet empathies are these unbidden epiphanies. The shift. I saw a man with his hand wrapped up pink standing outside the clinic after our appointments. My heart leapt. I responded automatically, glad to help. I turned and tried to let the staff know, but that this man had a laceration and that he needed help right away, but the door was locked. Another layer of COVID screening. I knew what he might need. I remembered sometimes applying pressure to the little spurting arteries between the quick PAs, laterals, and oblique x-rays, checking the integrity of bones. Now I was still not afraid of his injury or his blood. I felt calm. I knew what to do for once. So much of life is complicated. I have things I need to do. I have countless things that I should have already done, things I forgot. Things that require enormous effort and focus. Things that I should have already done, things I forgot to do and just noticed. I have things that I don't know how to start. Things I need to invent, problems I need to solve, or to apologize for, or to reframe, or spin, or imagine, or break down into steps, or write in the calendar on all the lists. To be consistent, to survive, to not let anybody down, especially myself. There are things I feel inadequate to do, but I will do them anyway somehow. I long for something easy, that helps someone, that has value. Something that I actually know how to do, and that I can feel good about. When the kids were small, I kept them fed and comforted, clean and full, giggling and relaxed, smiling, or at least held and heard. Now I feel guilty, like a failure sometimes, when they're anxious or depressed, or I feel unappreciated when they disagree with me or see my apparent lack and criticize like bold youth do. I step back to give them some independence, to let them bloom, and also out of need after surgery and returning to work. And now they don't remember when I cooked and cleaned more and sewed their clothes. I loved them and sacrificed my body and mind and whatnot, but it wasn't enough. And it isn't an option anymore because they are grown and I'm older. Not just older, but old. They're not happy. They don't remember being happy with me. I'm left with memories and confusion. Did it ever really happen? I have pictures of joy and nurturing and multifaceted support. They do remember the unusual opportunities I found for them, the varied interests I kindled, the many needs I prioritized over some of my comfort and some of my needs, and unfortunately, over some of their needs I didn't even know they had. As I drove everywhere and arranged everything, I listened and absorbed, suggested becoming whatever was necessary. Were the pictures just what I wanted to see? Were they clouded with unreasonable hope? Did it ever really happen? Was it worth it at all if they don't remember and aren't happy? I did my best at the time, in the moment, same as the generations before me, for better and worse, breaking through. Now on the good days, there are green lights, no trains, no layoffs, no accidents, no death. Everything is clean clothes, hot meals, lots of zeros in the bank account, fresh places to sit, breathe, quietly drink coffee before the day takes off at a skip. There are hugs and wonder, pride and appreciation, warmth and closeness, leaping joy, wild reciprocation, and eyes that light up like yours do when you see them coming around. In the beginning, we optimists are fresh, ready for every obstacle, brave for every fear, determined, focused, able to leap over every challenge, hurt, disappointment with a single bound. But later, the anxiety creeps in. Cold reality never nearly as heavy as the guilt, shame, catastrophizing, and fatigue. We've made 1,000 tiny, off-track choices that lean precarious, looming shadows that muffle, shake, stretch us thin, all battered, buffering our children, love's lives from harm and threat and the consequences of our mistakes. high expectations, high hopes, full responsibility, loss, trauma, shock, unbearable awareness. On the bad days, we can't see the possibilities. We won't turn our heads again and muscle through to hope and drive and plan, chasing the miracles down. Inspirational. Sometimes all we can do is isolate, encapsulate, make a hard shelled cyst around the multiple negative thoughts, the paralyzing overwhelm, a freezing brick of fear. Sometimes I just don't have the strength to sing the upbeat ending of the psalm. Sometimes faith feels much more risky than I can pay, steal, or borrow. Sometimes I worry that my optimism has made me late. Missing deadlines, costing penalties, digging a deep hole where I birthed my children into my cage, and I led my love astray. And in spite of everything, I remember the loyalty, the connection, the tiny hugs, the hope, the sweet labor, the morning light. This last poem is a poem of gratitude. Because no matter how bad it gets, we have something to be grateful for. And that makes all the difference in the world. I hear the sound of love in gold and glassy strings, the resonating plies of mahogany and koa, the startlingly familiar strings. Somewhere in space and time, I knew you before I knew your name. Smell the scent of love in wine and leather, earth dust, and axle grease, the freedom of running through the harmonies warped and weft, with a cotton quilt flying from my childishly open arms. I taste love in every good thing that satisfies wholly, the aromatic and the green, the summer sweetness dripping down my chin, the crunchy roasted and the raw, milk and honey ice cream, the sound of a smile and honest voice, the feel of light and welcoming eyes, the superfluous hues that color now, the feeling of warm warmth under this tired bag of bones and flesh, cool breath, splashing wind and the breathy ropes of river. And even in imperfect people like us, I feel love in the simple things. Then when no one is around, the thoughts, the warm intentions of hope and joy, the unexpectedly wordless messages we constantly send, numbers and colors, gifts that arrive daily, the freedom to do no unrightable wrong, the freedom to be whoever I am today. Freedom to be seen as I am and will be, disregarding everybody else's shoulds. Because the best part of being me, by far and wide, is knowing you, knowing me, unfolding, growing, grounding, reaching, and the living beat you bring, and the timeless song you sing over me, through me, and we together endlessly.
Tornado emergency for southeast Lawrence and Eudora. The National Weather Service in Topeka has issued a tornado warning for East Central Douglas County until 7 p.m. At 6:16 p.m., a confirmed large and destructive tornado was observed near Pleasant Grove, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. Expected hazards included a deadly tornado. Tornadic debris has been confirmed by radar. The following impacts are expected. You are in a life-threatening situation. Flying debris may be deadly to those caught.
I don't want to live anymore. Yes. Rip this place apart. And with me in it. Take me, God. Take me. No. I'm still here? Why? God? Why? I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to live. Why didn't you let that tornado just take me apart and rip me away? Why? Who's there? Is someone there? Who's there? God damn it, answer me!
Help me. Please help me.
Don't come any closer. Don't take another step. I have a gun, and my husband's here, and my son is here too, and we all have guns.
Please don't shoot. I'm injured.
I can't help you. I'm not a doctor. You need to leave.
I don't know where I'm at.
I can't help you. I don't have any money either, so if that's what you're after, you came to the wrong house.
I don't want any money. Am I on the Kickapoo reservation?
The reservation? No. You're nowhere near it. You probably think that we have a lot of money in this house, but we don't.
No, I don't want any.
Oh my God. Get up and get out of here. You're not welcome on my property. Do you hear me? Do you? Get up and get out, I say. You're bleeding. Here, let me help you. Oh, wait. Sorry, I just had this registered. I'm shivering. Here, let me get you a blanket and something for your head.
Thank you.
Doesn't look too bad. Had to lose weight a lot. No. I'm Carol, by the way. What's your name?
Suliwa.
Huh?
Suliwa.
I don't know how to say that. Sorry. I can't.
It's fine.
We both survived.
Yeah.
Should I call an ambulance or someone? Damn it. Line's dead. There's no signal either. At least the power's back on.
I flew tonight. I was flying.
What?
I was picked up by the tornado, but it felt like I was flying.
I think you hit your head pretty hard.
No, I flew.
That would be impossible. It would be impossible to survive a tornado.
I was flying in the tornado. With the tornado. It let me fly. It gave me power.
You'd be dead. Where do you live?
On the res?
The Indian reservation?
Yes, I'm Kickapoo.
That's gotta be at least a mile away.
Is it?
Yes, but that's not possible.
It's true.
So you're telling me that you were a mile away over there on that Indian reservation when all of a sudden you flew over here in a tornado.
I'm telling you, I flew. I heard the tornado sirens. And I ran into my room. I was all alone and scared. No one was home. We don't have a basement in our trailer home. Then I held on to my bed for dear life. The roof ripped wide open, and I saw that great beast of a tornado above me. It was angry. And I said, "You don't scare me, you don't scare me, I'm not afraid." And then it yanked me up into the sky. I couldn't breathe. And I was spinning and twisting, and I thought I was going to die. I didn't know what to do. I was cold and wet and dizzy. And I told myself, I had to fight. I had to fight if I wanted to live. I had to fly. So I held my arms open like a bird. And that's when I started to soar. I saw trees and fence posts flying by me, dirt rocks stuck in my skin, but I was flying. Then something struck me in the head. I flew into a tailspin and I landed in that cornfield right outside that door.
I don't believe you.
I heard you.
What?
I heard you crying. You were crying out to the tornado. You wanted it to destroy this house and to destroy you inside it. Why?
That's none of your business. That's none of your goddamn business.
But you were crying out to the tornado.
I'll be goddamned if you're gonna sneak onto my property and listen to my private, most intimate thoughts. God damn you for that. You have no right to... You have no right to do that.
You sounded so desperate, so lost and so alone. But it was a familiar sound to me. It was something that I've heard for many years, until I didn't anymore.
How dare you listen in on me? How dare you?
I thought you needed help.
Well, I don't. I don't need your help. You're just a kid. You can't help me.
I've seen a lot of things. I've dealt with a lot. I know pain.
Yeah? Well, my husband left me.
He left you for another woman?
I wish. No. He shot himself.
He was in great pain.
Isn't everyone?
He must have been brave.
What?
Brave?
No. He killed himself. That's not brave. It's wrong.
It might be wrong to the living, but in that moment his suffering was so great, he wasn't afraid anymore of death. He faced death. Unlike your husband, I'm not afraid of death.
You don't know what the hell you're talking about. He left me here to grow old, all alone, all by myself. I have no one.
I thought you said you had kids.
We never had any kids. I don't have anyone anymore. All I have is this house, this ancient estate. It's been in my family for over a century. And I'm the last of them. The last of the Pierce family.
This is the Pierce estate?
Yes. What?
I know you.
What do you mean?
Our ancestors knew each other.
I'm not sure what you mean.
There's bad blood here. That cornfield right outside that door belonged to my ancestors. Your people stole this land from my people.
What?
They stole our land. They ripped my people away from the place that they loved. They built a dirty, disgusting railroad through it. And they built this extravagant mansion to mock us and to show us that they were in power and we were not.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about that railroad or anything about that cornfield.
You're lying, Carol. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
We have stories about this land, our ancestors' resting place, and spirits still reside here, right outside in those cornfields.
What do you mean?
They're bones, Carol. The bones of my ancestors.
That's crazy. I don't know what you're talking about.
That cornfield saved my life tonight. That's native corn. My ancestors planted that corn many centuries ago. They saved my life.
You're crazy. You know that, right? You're crazy if you think that you can fly in tornadoes, or that there's magical corn out there in that cornfield, or that your ancestors still reside in that corn. Well, they don't. You're just crazy.
Listen, that railroad still runs on time, and our native corn still grows. We still exist. My people still exist. We're still here in the flesh and blood.
You're scaring me. You're frightening me.
You need to be brave, Carol. You need to be brave for once.
Please, don't hurt me.
I'm not going to hurt you, Carol.
Don't come near me. Don't you try anything.
I'm not going to hurt you. I promise. Look, you said it yourself. You don't have anyone alive, anyone in this world to inherit this house when you pass.
That's right.
People are starting to acknowledge native lands. And even some are giving back to the tribes that resided there. So give this land back to us.
What?
It would be horrible if it all went to the state of Kansas after your passing. It would be honorable if it went back to the land's rightful owners, the Kickapoo tribe. Don't you see? This night is special. That tornado brought us together for some reason, so that we could meet, so that you and I could settle this wrongdoing the honorable way, once and for all.
I don't know. I mean, how would that even work?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you could tell someone, or you could add me to your will. I don't know how this all works, but I'm sure there has to be a way.
Yeah. You know what? Let me write that on a piece of paper. And you could take it with you. And then I could add it to my will later, so that they would know. So that everyone would know. Right?
Really? You would do that?
Yeah, it's like you said, I don't have anyone here to protect me. I'm here all alone. I don't have anyone to leave this land to.
That would mean so much. All we've ever wanted was to be reunited with the land and to honor the spirits that still reside here. This would be very honorable of you, Carol. What are you doing?
I thought you said you weren't afraid of death. That you're brave, just like my husband. Brave? You're nothing but a dirty little Indian girl from over there on that reservation. You came onto my property without my permission. You're an intruder.
This was our land before it was yours.
Shut up! This is my land, and I don't care how my family got it. Tell my husband I said hello.
You can't kill me, Carol. You're already dead.
So you want to end on truth and reconciliation. I am the heart, I am the is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of the Spirit on earth. And who we are and how we do is a blessing to the world. Is a blessing to the world.
Thank you for coming. And we appreciate these performers. Thank you so much. Thank you all. We hope to do this again, so we hope you come back.
Thank you.
Oh, and by the way, a couple of poets, they sell chapbooks. They sell their poems. So if you would like one, you can buy it from them. They'll be back here in a few minutes. So thank you.